Hello friends, I hope you're having a great day. Today, this video is about the true meaning of Christmas, the Nativity, the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I hope that you love these DIYs as much as I do. Let's get started. Our first DIY, we're going to start out with this beautiful charger I got on clearance in the fall section. And it is just absolutely beautiful color. And this is a little sign that I got at Dollar Tree. It had a bunny on it and I just popped it off. And I tried to spray paint it white and it didn't turn out that great. So I brought it in the house and I'm trying to figure out what color I want to paint it. Do I want to paint it faded burlap? Maybe cake batter? No, that was really bad. Flipping through these. I don't have all my DIY paints on these little tags yet, but I do have some of my most used ones, and this is the one I really liked, and guess what color it is? You got it, beadboard. So we're going to use beadboard. I'm going to give it one good coat of beadboard. That's all it took since I already had that spray paint base on there. I'm going to spare you all the painting details. Everyone should know how to paint. So I went over to Cricut Design Space and found this adorable nativity image, and I cut it on some everyday vinyl, and I'm just going to use my little Cricut iron to iron it on. I'm trying to think what it's called. If you have a regular iron, you can use it too. You just don't want to use any steam. Now I'm going to pull this off very slowly and gently, and you can see that it's not sticking right there. Oop, and then I got a little wrinkle, but you know what? It was very kind to me and laid right back down. That's why you should do it very carefully. Now this needs to be pulled back when it's warm, and I may have let it cool a little bit too long, so this time I'm going to be sure and get it all pulled back very slowly, but while it's still warm, and it peels off really easily. I love the way that the iron-on goes onto wood, fabric, many different types of projects, because it just adheres so nicely. So I'm going to just burnish it in a little bit with my hands just to press it in there good. And sometimes there's maybe a little bit of glue around the edges, and if you do this, it'll just go ahead and press that in. But this one didn't have any. I just did it. I love the way this looks. You can tell I'm clapping and giving it thumbs up. I really do like how this looks. Now, because this has a little bevel in the center of it, the plate doesn't really have anywhere to glue down to. It kind of slides around. So these little popsicle sticks are the perfect thickness to solve that problem. So I'm just going to simply hot glue a couple of them on the back, and then I'm going to hot glue this little wooden sign right in the middle of this charger. Look how pretty that is. But we're not done yet. We're going to add a gingham bow to the top. And I'm going to add some fray check to the ends of it. I love fray check. It keeps it from raveling. And this one was already a little raveled, and I just put it on there and pressed it down, and it just worked like a charm. Now, you really want to wait until this fray check completely dries before you start using it on your project. I'll show you why momentarily. I'm trying to find a star to put in the middle. You know, I have these little jars of stars. I've used them in several videos lately, and I'm deciding, do I want to layer it up? Do I want to just put one or the other? And as you can see, I tried several different things, and this is what I decided on. I'm going to give it one just light coat of beadboard. You can see a little bit of wood grain still through it, and I'm going to use Titebond to glue that to make a layered star. And I'm going to glue this little simple bow right there on top. I'm thinking I got it a little off-centered, but that fray check got on my project. Now watch what happens. I decide I'm going to scrape it off, and it peels Mary's little old head right up off of there. But no fear, I fix it. I'm going to show you how I fix it. I don't fix it, I cover it up. But first I'm going to glue our pretty little white star right in the middle of that bow. I love how that turned out. Okay, so what I end up doing is I end up putting a little drop of glue, because I'm thinking if that little bow could just hang right down over that, just a little bit, enough to still see it, but to cover up my little boo-boo. And guess what? It works perfect. I put a little tiny dab of glue right above her little head, and then I glued that little ribbon right there to it. And then it hangs right down over the back of Joseph's back just a little bit. Perfect. Let me know what you think. I'm going to use a little bit of super glue. Well, it's Fix-All glue from Dollar Tree, and some hot glue to glue a little hanger to the back, and we are done. This precious little ornament is so simple, and it turns out so cute, and I'm totally shooting from the hip. I just got these things out, and I have no idea if it's going to work or how it's going to turn out, so you're seeing it the first time with me as I'm doing it. So I have these little wood rounds. I have a ton of them left over from some projects and some weddings and what have you, and I got one out. And I decided I wanted to put a little nativity on it. And I didn't want to do another iron-on or another, same old, same old. I was trying to do something different that I've never done before. So I got out those craft sticks and a popsicle stick, and I cut them to be our little nativity. So I did want to paint it. So, I've been loving this aviary green by DIY Paints this season. And so I'm just going to give it one coat of the aviary paint. I get my DIY paints from Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs, and it's www.unicorndustdesigns.com, and you can pop over there and find all kinds of wonderful products. So I just took this wide lace I got at Dollar Tree, and you can see I'm just kind of fiddling around with it until I get it, and then I'm like, oh, I think that looks cute. So I just hold it, and then I just stick glue everywhere I need the glue to stick. Like normally, I kind of do all this experimenting, not gluing it down, but just kind of experimenting off camera. But today I decided I'm just going to do all of it on camera, and everything just flowed. Okay, I've got a little piece of this canvas drop cloth. Surprise, surprise, I'm going to use some canvas drop cloth, and I just took a little bit of dark wax and kind of dirtied it up a little bit. Because, Mary and Joseph, they have been on the road for a while. And I made them not facing each other. Okay, no fear. I didn't glue it all the way down on the back side, so I took a little pair of scissors and just cut a little place out for his face, and then I just frayed it a little bit. I just rubbed it a little bit with my nail and just peeled off a little bit of the strings and just frayed it so it looked a little worn. Now for baby Jesus, I have this little bit of muslin cloth. And these were just some little scrap pieces I had, and it took the teeny tiniest little piece to do this. So I just glued it on there and wrapped him up in his little swaddling cloth and glued it down. And then I'm just going to glue this little family all together on this little ornament. I mean, how much easier can you get, friends? And it's so adorable. Now, I do get the stars out, but I do want to say that in Luke chapter 2 of the Bible, you can find the whole story about the birth of Jesus and why they traveled and why they weren't in their hometown when Mary had baby Jesus and the Savior. And I will tell you that I've been to Bethlehem. I've been very fortunate to get to travel over there, and some of you may have been there as well. And we went to a place that is not the birthplace of Jesus, but would have been a place where he would have been born. And it is not a wooden stable like we depict. It is actually more like a cave. So just thought I'd throw that little bit of information out there in case you didn't know that. Okay, so here I'm just adding a little piece of baker's twine, and this little DIY is done. Let me know what you think about this ornament. I think it is just precious. Yes, oh, I forgot to seal it. I always do this. Y'all, it's bad. So I'm taking Big Top by DIY and just kind of going around my embellishments to seal the paint. We always need to seal our DIY paints so that they're clay-based and they will be water activated. So if they get moisture or anything like that, yeah, all our hard work could go down the drain. So we always want to seal our DIY products. So let me know what you think about this cute little ornament. Do you love it as much as I do? I hope you're enjoying this video and the true meaning of Christmas. Hello, my name is Kendra. You're watching Late Night Creations. If you're new here, we are so glad to have you as a part of our late night family. If you're returning, thank you so much for your continued support. Always remember, check that subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment, even if it's just an emoji. It helps my channel out so much. I appreciate you all for getting me as far as I've gotten. I love each and every one of you. I hope that you are having a very Merry Christmas season. Let's get back to crafting. Here is another very simple but very pretty. This could be a large ornament or a small sign. I got this sign at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take the little string off for the hanger. I've marked previously on the back side where it needs to be cut. I'm heating it up with my heat gun so that it'll be softer and easier to cut. And it heats up pretty fast and gets soft pretty quick. And then it just snaps just like that. And I'm going to do both sides so I can make it the right size I need to fit on this little sign. Then I did take my little emery board and smooth the edges out a little bit. I'm going to take Titebond, quick and thick, and a little bit of hot glue for some immediate hold, the Titebond for the permanent hold, and just position it on there and press it down good. Then I'm going to take some masking tape and I'm going to tape that off. Now I'm just going to keep this white because this is going to be a black and white project, so it will coordinate with our first DIY we did, the plate. So I'm just going to keep this white. Now I really wanted to put some kind of wax or dry brush or something on this mold. This was a mold. This was like a leftover piece that I had, or an extra pour when I had like extra resin. It's a DIY mold. And so, but I just wanted to keep it white. I really wanted to keep it white. So here's another decal that I cut out on my Cricut. And I got this one in Design Space as well. And I'm just using the heat method again because I just really like it. I really wasn't sure how it was going to work on this little chalkboard sign, but it worked great. So then I'm going to just make a little hanger out of this little gingham ribbon, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it like this, and I ended up not. I ended up taking two pieces and tying them together at the top, but I'm showing you that you need to angle them. And fortunately it hadn't dried yet and I could peel it off very easily. And now you need to angle them so that they come up like that. Yes. Then I'm just going to tie that in a little knot, and voila, we are done. Here is another piece of that gorgeous wood from my dumpster dive experience, and this nativity set from Hobby Lobby that I got at least 50% off, maybe more. I can't even remember how long I've had it in my stash. Now I have these IOD stamps. They are from the Winter Adornment collection, and I'm trying to figure out which pieces I'm going to use. I'm going to stamp on this wood. I did it in a video last week, and I absolutely love the way it looks. I'm going to use Monet's Garden this week, and I'm going to use a sponge brush, and I'm just going to use the side. I'm showing you that I'm trying to get the paint just on the side. I'm going to rub it onto this little piece of paper. I end up using this piece of paper kind of like a stamp pad. I put some paint on it, and then I just kind of press my sponge into that paper. And then I'm dabbing. I've got it in fast motion, but I'm just dabbing that paint onto that stamp. And I'm working pretty fast so the paint doesn't dry, kind of going back over it. And then cleaning up the edges that might touch where I would get some paint on my project where I don't want it. I'm going to center this in the middle. And then I don't want to press too hard because I don't want it to smear. The paint can smear quite easily. And I absolutely love how this turned out. Now I'm going to do just half of it to go ahead and finish out the sides. So I'll do half on this end and then half on the other end. And I think this just looks so pretty. And we're going to put those little nativity pieces on top of that wood piece. So I'm going to give every single one of these pieces of this nativity set one coat of beadboard. And I just coat it. I didn't like do a thick coat or a thin coat. I mean, it's just a coat, just one coat. And I didn't care if you could see some wood grain through because it's supposed to look a little bit rustic. So now I've got all of them painted, front, sides, back, and I'm going to take some antique wax by Waverly. I haven't used it in a while, but I decided to get it out, and I'm going to dry brush. I'm using an old chippy brush, and I'm going to get most of it off there, and I'm doing it really, really lightly. Then I'm going to take a soft cloth and wipe it back. I don't want to wipe all of it off, but I'm just going to wipe it back. You can see that. It just kind of makes it look more a little bit like some weathered wood. So I'm going to do all the pieces like that. I'm going to do this entire little manger scene like that. Now I'm going to take cake batter on a smaller little chippy brush and do the star. Now I don't really want it to look like I did it, but I just want it to look a little bit different. I'm going to show you how I'm doing the camel. Like I'm concentrating really like I'm doing the edges, and then it's going to get on every other part. But I really want it to look like they're almost outlined. Okay, I've got them all done. Now I'm going to take the clear wax by DIY, and I'm just going to wax over this little green vine that I put on here. Then I decide I need some little red berries. So I get out my marquee by DIY and use the end of a paintbrush, and I just make a few little dots wherever I think it looks good. So it looks like little holly berries. I think this was just what this little vine needed. Not too many, but just enough. Let me know if you would have put the berries on or if you would have left it. Okay, now to place all the pieces on top. I'm going to use the Type Bond Quick and Thick and some hot glue, and it's going to be really hard for you to see what I'm doing overhead, but I'm going to try my best so that you can see. I'm going to place the manger right in the center and just put all the pieces around to make it look like a manger scene. Another fun little tip is, and you may already know this, you can leave a comment below and let me know if you knew this or not, but the wise men were not there the night Jesus was born. They came a little bit later. They were not there. So it's kind of funny that,
If you want to be really pedantic, you could say, oh, they don't belong at the manger scene and they're always there, but it's okay. They're important in the story of Jesus. They're important in, the whole Bible has, you can't just read the New Testament or just the Old Testament. You have to read them together to get the whole story. So here I'm placing them where I want them to be and just gluing them down. Then I'm taking the little paintbrush and wiping away the excess glue because, it kind of oozes out a little bit every now and then. If you get a little too much, you just wipe it off. And thankfully it dries clear, so, it's not a big mess. And I absolutely love how this turned out. You're going to have to let me know what you think. But it's simple, but I absolutely love it.
That's all, my friends, for this video. I will see you next week with another fresh video that I'm super excited about. You do not want to miss it. But most of all, remember to be still and know that He is God.